This school had a bizarre rule: no running in the hallway, and if anyone was caught, the disciplinary teacher would chase them down and steal their first kiss. The boy had just entered high school and already had 2 girlfriends, but that wasn't even his limit, because not long ago a god had told him that he would meet 100 destined soulmates during his time at this school. If these girls encountered him but didn't start a relationship, they would die in unexpected accidents, so the boy had no choice. For the sake of these 100 girls' lives, he had to sacrifice himself and endure this painful fate. Actually, even before high school, the boy had confessed to many girls, but most of them just handed him a nice guy card and rejected him outright. After being rejected 100 times, he went to a temple and prayed to the god of love, begging to find a girlfriend in high school. Unexpectedly, the moment he finished speaking, the god responded. The god saw that the boy didn't believe him, so he revealed his full form and declared that the boy would encounter his destined soulmates in high school. But the boy, thinking he had heard it wrong, assumed the god had said true goddess instead of true soulmate, and didn't believe such luck was possible. Seeing how clueless the boy was, the god helplessly explained what a true soulmate really meant. It was the best possible partner, decided the moment one was born. When someone meets their destined one, they would feel a surge of electricity all over their body and fall hopelessly in love at first sight. But there was a key difference. Love at first sight only worked immediately for the girl, while the boy would gradually fall in love over time. Of course, meeting your destined one also required timing, and most people in life might meet only one or none at all. After hearing the explanation, the boy finally understood. The god meant that he would meet his destined one in high school and enjoy a blissful romance. Soon, a month passed and the summer break ended. He officially entered high school. While looking at a slip of paper to find his classroom, he suddenly bumped into 2 girls, and just as they looked up to see each other's faces, that electric sensation shot through his body. He immediately realized both girls were his destined soulmates. The boy quickly stood up and walked over to them, asking if they were hurt. The orange-haired girl was completely stunned by this sudden collision, but the boy's next action shocked her even more. He suddenly burst into tears from guilt. The pink-haired girl wasn't weirded out by this at all. In fact, she was touched, thinking she had never seen someone cry like this just because a stranger twisted her ankle. The boy then reached out to help the pink-haired girl up, but the orange-haired girl couldn't take it anymore. In the end, the boy was escorted to the infirmary by both girls. On the way, he asked them which class they were in, and surprisingly, they both answered the same class, his class. Just then, 2 more girls passed by, chatting about a rumored love magic in the school. If someone found a 4-leaf clover in the courtyard and gave it during a confession, they were guaranteed to succeed. After school, the boy originally planned to talk more with the 2 girls about life and love, but he ended up spending 4 hours helping a teacher search for lost contact lenses and missed the opportunity. However, while walking through the hallway, he noticed that the 2 girls were still in the courtyard, searching for a lucky 4-leaf clover. Feeling thoughtful, he bought 2 drinks and gave them to the girls, but the orange-haired one, being a tsundere, refused to admit she was looking for a clover. The boy noticed the pink-haired girl was gone and asked where she went, but the orange-haired girl said she didn't notice, maybe she went to the bathroom. So he handed a drink to the orange-haired girl, who blushed and hesitantly accepted it after some coaxing. After she left, the pink-haired girl returned from the bathroom, and the boy gave her the second bottle. Unexpectedly, she had a little plan. She claimed the bottled juice was too much and she couldn't finish it, suggesting they share it, secretly wanting to kiss him indirectly. But the boy was prepared. He pulled out a smaller bottle of juice from his pocket. The pink-haired girl, seeing her plan foiled, pretended the new bottle was still too big, 15 milliliters more than half the big one, and said she wouldn't be able to finish that either. The boy was speechless but gave in and took a sip. The 15 milliliter sip tasted awful. Suddenly, the pink-haired girl confessed her feelings, catching the boy off guard. After a lifetime of being handed nice guy cards, this heartfelt confession moved him deeply. Just as he was about to respond, the orange-haired girl appeared. Turns out she hadn't gone home but had gone to buy a drink to return the favor. Seeing the pink-haired girl stealing a lead, she couldn't hold back and confessed her feelings too. Faced with 2 confessions from such incredible girls, the boy said he'd give his answer the next day. He couldn't choose yet. Conflicted, he went to the shrine again to seek guidance from the god of love. But what he heard next shattered him. Since he would meet 100 destined girls in high school, no matter who he chose now, the remaining 99 would die. On the way back, he was tormented by this truth. He didn't want any of the girls to die. After much thought, he came up with a solution. Secretly date both girls, that way no one would die. But then he quickly rejected this idea. He couldn't stand being dishonest. So the next day, the boy met both girls again, and after explaining everything, he took out 2 4-leaf clovers that he had spent the whole night searching for because he remembered how they were both looking for them yesterday and he wanted to help them. It must be that the boy knew the girls loved romantic gestures, so he gave them the lucky clovers as a way to reply to their confessions and make them happy. And upon hearing this explanation, the pink-haired girl completely fell for him. Even more than the idea of him two-timing, she couldn't bear being rejected by him. The orange-haired girl, not to be left behind, immediately stepped forward to confess her feelings as well. And just like that, the boy successfully accepted both girls as his girlfriends, though 98 more girls still awaited him in the days to come. During lunch, the pink-haired girl broke her her chocolate stick on purpose so she couldn't hold it by hand, claiming she really wanted to feed it to the boy, and as long as she didn't touch it directly, it wouldn't be dirty. But just as she was about to succeed in feeding him, the orange-haired girl couldn't take it anymore and interrupted, causing the pink-haired girl to burst into tears from the failure of her plan. Then the orange-haired girl noticed the boy's eyes were red and asked if he had a cold. If so, she said the only way to help was to transfer the cold by mouth, and she leaned in as if to kiss him. Not wanting to be left out, the pink-haired girl quickly stepped forward again and said they first needed to confirm if he had a fever, which required checking his temperature using lips. But before she could act, the orange-haired girl came back and insisted the proper method to check was through artificial respiration. She suddenly pushed the boy down and tried to knock him unconscious so she could perform mouth-to-mouth, but the pink-haired girl slammed into her to save the boy. Only then did the boy realize what they both were truly after, his first kiss. Fortunately, he had already prepared for this moment and came up with a clever plan. All three of them would wear blindfolds and earphones, and the two girls would stand behind him. Then, he would roll a dice to determine which side to turn, left or right, and how many seconds to walk before giving the kiss. After kissing, he would return to the center, roll the dice again, and let the girls change positions, making sure no one would know who kissed whom. He even came up with a pinky promise system to prevent cheating and make sure no one lifted their blindfold. Brilliant. The boy truly understood the art of flirting. The first roll resulted in an even number, and as he walked blindly, he reached out to gauge his surroundings but accidentally touched something soft, immediately realizing it was the pink-haired girl and stopping the attempt. On the second try, he turned toward the orange-haired girl's direction, but a cat suddenly jumped out and startled her, making her think the boy was doing something weird. They restarted the plan, but various interruptions kept causing misunderstandings between the three, so even by evening, the kiss attempt failed. Both girls blamed each other and started arguing, while the boy, seeing that his first kiss had become the cause of their conflict, ran toward the hallway, hoping the strict discipline teacher would take his kiss and end everything. Just as his kiss was about to be stolen, the orange-haired girl arrived in time and stopped the teacher, while the pink-haired girl shouted from a classroom window for the education board inspector, claiming that a predator was committing a crime. The two girls were overwhelmed with guilt, realizing the boy had done all this for their sake, and finally made peace with each other. Compared to the discipline teacher, they'd rather have each other take the boy's first kiss. Later, all three went to the rooftop, and the boy revealed his backup plan, a three-way kiss, so everyone would be each other's first. The next day, the boy went to the library to get a book, and just as he reached for one, another hand reached out too. The moment their hands touched, he felt an electric spark. Without a doubt, this girl was also one of his destined soulmates. Even with two girlfriends, the boy wasn't satisfied. He was ready for the third, and amazingly, the girl agreed to date him, even knowing he already had two girlfriends. So he went to discuss it with them. Earlier that day in the library, when his hand touched the girl's, both of them felt the spark. The girl opened the book and pointed to a passage, saying she was the library assistant, then asked what kind of book he was looking for. The boy used gestures to show he wanted a fun novel. The girl explained that she wasn't good at talking to people and was about to call someone else to help, but the boy stopped her and asked if there were any happy-ending romance novels. Her eyes lit up. She loved romance novels and immediately began selecting titles for him, stacking two mountains of books in front of him. Overwhelmed, the boy was told to just pick one, but being the Casanova he was, he said he'd read them all. However, he learned that he'd have to wait a week to get a library card and borrow them. The boy was crushed. Seeing this, the girl offered to lend him her own books. Her sincere expression moved him, and he asked her name. She handed him her student ID, and he realized her name was Jing, and she was a classmate. That night, he sped through the novel and was so touched by the love story that he cried little pearls of emotion, remembering what the god had warned. If he and a soulmate couldn't truly love each other, she would die. So the next day, he went to Jing and spotted the second volume of the novel in her bag. Turns out she brought it just for him. To thank her, he offered her a drink, and in their conversation, he learned that she had no friends growing up and that novels were her only emotional refuge. To get closer to her, he borrowed the first volume again. The next day, Jing waited for him to borrow the third volume, but he never came. A whole day passed. On the third day, Jing walked through the hallway and saw him openly two-timing, holding hands with two girls. Realizing he already had girlfriends, she suddenly remembered her painful childhood, how she used books to talk to others but still got bullied by classmates and misunderstood by her family. In that moment, Jing shrank back emotionally. When she returned to the library for her duty shift, the boy came looking for her and requested to install a software on her phone. Without hesitation, she agreed, and after a few taps, a new app appeared. It was a text-to-speech reader. Jing immediately realized the boy must have personally typed in the entire novel word by word, and he explained that since they always communicated using books, they couldn't look into each other's eyes while speaking, but now with this app, they finally could. He then began listing what made each of them charming. Jing's feet moved subtly when her emotions stirred while reading. Yuxiangli bit her lip when deep in thought, and Tang Yin played with her hair non-stop when embarrassed. His words made all three blush deeply. Then he described how Yuxiangli and Tang Yin looked when they kissed him, which piqued Jing's interest too. As the girls encouraged Jing to join in, she gently expressed that she wished to stay pure until marriage. The boy smiled and said he'd always follow her pace, and if she ever wanted to change that, she could tell him freely. While the other two fed the boy, they started arguing about who would speak to him first, and only then did the boy realize he had ignored Jing, who stood quietly by. Knowing it would be hard to blend all three together quickly, he was already prepared. In the next round of their game, the boy came in first while Tongyin came last. He pounced on her to tickle her mercilessly, but she stubbornly insisted she wasn't laughing. Seeing her so tough, he increased the intensity until Tongyin collapsed to the floor with a tearful, helpless look. In round 2, the boy still placed first, and Yuxiangli came last. After his tickle attack, Yuxiangli trembled with joy and bliss. Suddenly, she stopped him and stepped aside. In round 3, again the boy won, and Jing was last. He looked forward to hearing her laugh, and though she smiled as he tickled her, no sound came out, she had laughed without a single giggle. With Jing and the other girls' tickle wishes fulfilled, it was their turn to target the boy. In round 4, the boy came last while Jing came first. She poked him gently, and he exploded with laughter, making Yuxiangli realize the boy must be drawn to Jing's quietly irresistible charm, causing her to feel immense pressure. The boy, sensing the tension, excused himself to the bathroom. Once he left, Tongyin spoke up, saying Jing's constant concern for the others was irritating. Jing quickly explained, compared to the curvy Yuxiangli and the elegant Tongyin, she felt she had no standout qualities. Her vulnerability moved them both, and they were instantly won over. After clearing the air, the three girls had no more reservations. The boy, who had been secretly watching from the hallway, felt deeply relieved. When he returned, Tongyin told him to tickle Jing again. Realizing they were helping her feel accepted, Jing finally opened up about her true feelings. The boy, overwhelmed, kissed her deeply, then lovingly kissed the other two in turn. But this guy truly defied expectations. During a biology experiment, he accidentally cut his finger, and the beauty beside him offered to stop the bleeding herself. Later, the boy accidentally left his phone in the classroom, only to find the quiet and lonely classmate Junai there. The moment their eyes met, a current of electricity shot through both of them. He tried to invite her to check exam results with him, but she coldly refused, and he respectfully backed off. Out of over 200 students, she had the highest marks, followed by Jing, while the boy and Tongyin ranked much lower. He then noticed that Junai had scored perfect marks in every subject. Everyone regarded her as a top scholar. During biology class, they were assigned to the same group. Trying to ease the awkwardness, the boy went to fetch a microscope. When he returned, he saw Junai copying textbook illustrations onto her worksheet, explaining that this method was faster than using a microscope. The teacher arrived, and to avoid embarrassing the boy, Junai pretended to use the equipment, casually faking the process. The boy was stunned by her strange brilliance. Later, while slicing an onion, the boy accidentally cut his finger. As he rinsed the blood, he prepared to go to the infirmary, but Junai stopped him, saying she had a more efficient way to handle the injury. "Ah," she said suddenly. "Huh? What?" "The air itself has disinfecting properties," she claimed. "This kind of injury doesn't need antiseptic. I can calm myself down," she thought, as she turned toward the blackboard and began silently writing out mathematical equations to suppress the intense emotions in her heart. The next day, she went to the boy and boldly confessed her feelings. Just as the boy opened his mouth to accept, she immediately rejected him. She explained that love wasn't something she needed. It was a waste of time, and for that reason, she wouldn't date him. But the boy didn't want their potential relationship to end like this. Realizing the boy truly liked her, she began silently reciting P to steady her thoughts. Faced with the boy's heartfelt declaration of love, she didn't know what to do. A few days later, the two went on a date to an amusement park. Having never ridden a carousel before, she mistakenly thought it was horse riding training, which left the boy completely flustered. Trying to ease the awkwardness, he suggested taking a photo, but she criticized the act of photography as utterly pointless. They then visited a haunted house where she, being a firm believer in science, remained completely unfazed by the jump scares, knowing it was all just people in costumes. But once they got on the Ferris wheel, her usual composure crumbled. She had a fear of heights. To comfort her, the boy sat right beside her. After their day of fun, they reviewed the photos, and though she admitted she was happy, she said that was all. It had been a meaningless day with no takeaway. Hearing this, the boy decided to burn the photos, but before he could light them, she snatched them away. The boy realized her fear of losing them proved that she did gain something meaningful, even if she couldn't put it into words. Touched by his insight, she finally made up her mind and confessed again. "I like you. I want to be with you. I want to fall in love with you. I want to experience more, to spend time together in unknown but meaningful moments. I also like AI. Please, take care of me." And so began the chapter of introducing AI Nanuo as the boy's new girlfriend.